So again, before we start looking at some of these commands inside of the command menu, I want to remind you that if you're not seeing what I'm talking about, and like each camera is a little bit different, so it'll display a little bit differently, but if you're absolutely not seeing what I'm talking about, there's two possibilities. The first one is that your camera does not have that setting, and that it does totally depend on the manufacturer, the make and the model of the camera. But most likely the culprit is that you're still in an automatic setting. So you're going to have to move your camera out of that auto setting to see some of these commands that I'm going to talk about here in a second. So again, look at your camera, look at your mode dial or that slider bar, and make sure that you have moved your slider bar or your mode dial out of the auto settings and you're into something that's either like scene or it's one of the manual settings. Okay, so here's a sample of what I mean by that. You can see on this camera it doesn't have a real mode dial. It does have this these different camera settings here. Camera, which is automatic, and camera manual. This camera, if we turned it on, we may see some of the functions, but we will not probably see them all until we rotate the dial to the scene section. We may see some of them again, but again, we might have to move it into the scene, SCN selection. And then you're going to want to hit function set as the enter key. And on this one, to start with, if you've got a Canon like this, to get into the menus that I'm about to talk about, you're going to want to push this menu button first. And that's going to get you into some of these setups.